Hey, it's Tony Mecia with the Charlotte Ledger, and you're listening to the Charlotte Ledger podcast. You can find out more about the Charlotte Ledger at thecharlotteledger.com. And if you like what we do here, sign up for our insightful morning newsletter as a free or a paid subscriber. Or tell a friend, spread the word, spread the love. Today, I'm talking with Tom Boland, the Chief Marketing Officer of Bojangles, the restaurant chain that started with a single restaurant in Charlotte in 1977 and now has more than 800 locations in 17 states. You pretty much have to be living under a rock not to know that Bojangles is known for its chicken, biscuits, tea, and other Southern food. And a large part of that has to do with the marketing, which Tom heads. Now, before joining the Bojangles team in 2023, Tom spent 20 years in digital marketing and brand transformation. He was vice president of marketing at Barstool Sports and previously had roles at Warner Media. And also, Tom, it says in your bio, World Wrestling Entertainment. And you also spent time at ad agencies Ogilvy and Digitas. We're going to talk today about Bojangles, how it develops menu items, how it stays relevant after almost 50 years, how it competes in a very competitive industry, and one in which everyone has opinions. Tom, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. We're thrilled to be part of this.
Appreciate it. All right, so Bojangles has been around since 1977. Its first restaurant was on West Boulevard at South Tryon Street in the Wilmore neighborhood. That's near South End, and that location still exists. It was recently renovated, I believe. You've now grown to more than 800 locations. Most of the locations are in the Southeast, but you're also expanding into the Midwest and the West, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And there's a lot of competition in restaurants. People have a lot of choices, especially in fast food chicken that seems to have really taken off over the last few decades. How do you view Bojangles' competitive advantage? How do you differentiate Bojangles and what makes it special?
Tony, that's a great question. Bojangles has such a proud history and such proven recipes over the years that we've got the benefit of an amazing breakfast where we have scratch-made biscuits offered with a number of different proteins. So not only can we help you at breakfast, but then at lunch, our famous chicken, biscuits, and tea go together in an unbelievable way. So whether it's Supremes, which is what we call our tenders, or if it's bone-in chicken or chicken sandwiches, we have all of that. In addition, we're adding a number of new menu items to kind of round things out so we can continue to not only attract new consumers, but also make sure that all of our fixins and great sides appeal to our current consumers.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Bojangles menu. You're obviously known for chicken and biscuits. That's kind of your core. I mean, you've got the Cajun fries. I think those are pretty well known. You got the sweet tea, which I think is sort of branded as legendary.
We're drinking it right now. Yep.
As opposed to all those other sweet teas that are out there that aren't legendary. And then you have the Bo-Berry biscuits, and I think you've recently sort of expanded some of that line. I think you in the summer had a Bo-Berry sausage biscuit. I think you have Bo-Berry cookies. What exactly is a Bo-Berry?
So I believe in 1987 is when the Bo-Berry biscuit first came out. And what it is an absolutely delicious treat where it combines the fantastic taste of Bo-Berries, which is similar to blueberry flavoring with icing on top of it. And it's been a cult favorite of this brand for years and years. And as an individual who didn't grow up with Bojangles, but was recently introduced to it, when I moved down south and I had my first Bo-Berry, I was like, wow, this thing is magic. No wonder it's been around for so many years. And then listening to a lot of the employees in the store, talking to our customers, we really found that there was a lot of magic and a lot of love behind the Bo-Berry. And what could we do to help expand that, basically that brand, that profile? So we've been experimenting in a number of different ways. You mentioned the Bo-Berry cookies. We launched them this summer and they were a runaway hit. We're talking 5X what we were anticipating on sales. Because, you can get cookies anywhere, but where else can you get a Bo-Berry cookie? Only Bojangles. And what was so great about it was the way that we marketed that. We announced we had the new product. And then once the fans started to take a bite and try it, they really helped market the product for us. They went to social media right away. If you were to check Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, you type in Bojangles cookie, you're going to see pages and pages and pages of scrolls of reviews where people are talking about how much they love it. And it was it fueled itself where the more customers talked about it, the more we sold. And then it got to a point where our Bo-Berry suppliers, we have to slow down because we need to make more Bo-Berries.
So there is an actual Bo-Berry supplier. There's someone who's got somewhere tanks and tanks of Bo-Berries
we like Bo-Berry. We always need to harvest the Bo-Berries.
Can you disclose, are you able to disclose where the Bo-Berries are sourced from?
That's a great question. I do not know exactly where they came from, but it's a magical place, clearly. It goes into a lot of our products. And then we took it to the next step. If you grew up in North Carolina and you were around Bojangles in a college, you may already know about this, but there was an off-menu item. And I love telling this story. I was reviewing the data and I'm like, what is happening on the weekends here where I would see a spike in activity of side orders of the sausage patty with a Bowberry biscuit? And it would spike so high that I actually got in the car. We went to go visit some stores and I started to ask the managers, I'm like, what is happening here? And they all laughed at me and they're like, it's the sausage Bowberry. The college kids come in and get it on the weekend. So what they would do is they would hack it. They would take a Bowberry and put sausage in the middle and eat it. But we have such a large percentage of our business that comes through the drive-thru that our culinary team reworked that idea. They moved the icing to the inside and it took off. I mean,
interesting, because I saw that and I thought to myself, gosh, I like sausage biscuits and I like Bowberry biscuits, but I don't know how they would be in combination. But you're saying it was basically a data-driven thing. It wasn't something that somebody cooked up.
It's been happening for years as an off-menu hack. And then once the data really pointed to it, and then once we tried it, when you first look at it, you're like, that seems like an unusual combination. But when you take a bite and you try it, we sold millions and millions of these. I mean, it was such a home run for us. I'm still smiling about it because it's once again unique to us. Like if you're going to look for a unique breakfast treat, a lot of people offer biscuits. A lot of people offer different types of proteins within biscuits, but no one else can offer a sausage Bowberry biscuit with our amazing icing. And if you haven't tried it, you got to give it a try. It is absolutely delicious. The promotional calendar for sausage Bowberry is coming to an end, but that if you ask in a store, they'll still make it for you. But don't be surprised if you see it come back because it was such a popular item with our guests that we'll probably look to bring it back in 2025.
Okay, so just more generally talking about your menu, I mean, how do you think about the mix of your menu? It seems like you have some foundational items, and then you sort of have a rotating cast of items, and then you have experimental items. How do you offer enough to appeal to a wide range of people while not making it too complex for the restaurant?
Great question and a lot to unpack there. So let's start with our core consumer. We want to make sure that for the past 47 years, chicken, biscuits, and tea has helped power this business. So we always want to make sure that we have that to offer because that's what people know us for and that's what they come for. However, you mentioned earlier in the conversation, it's very competitive out there. And we want to make sure that we're offering a competitive product to appeal to new consumers as well, people who may or may not have grown up with the brand. So we have our core products, which are very important to our menu mix. So we want to promote them as frequently as possible. Bone-in chicken, Supremes, biscuits, tea, all that good stuff. And then we also have seasonal favorites. So call that the Bojangler. Perhaps you've tried our fish sandwich over the years, very popular during the Lent season. And then we're starting to experiment with some limited time offers to get a sense of how can we bring in different younger consumers, more diverse consumers at different times of the year and at different day parts. And to illustrate that point, in January, we experimented with a rice bowl. Now, a rice bowl takes advantage of a lot of the great ingredients we have in the kitchen. It just puts it in a different format. So we have our dirty rice, we've got beans, we've got chicken, and then your choice of Supremes, or you can get grilled chicken. That was wildly popular, and it helped attract a younger, more diverse consumer to our audience, to our restaurants, which was fantastic. And then we moved to the bird dog. What we wanted to do was have a product that would appeal to younger consumers, think high school and college, that was affordable and portable. And what could we do that wouldn't put complexity on the kitchen, but celebrate some of our key items? So the Supreme has been a champion for years for us. And there's a lot of competitors that are doing wraps. But what if we thought about it a little different? And what if we put a Bojangles spin on it? And I give a lot of credit to our menu innovation team. We heard a story from an employee about how he grew up playing sports, and on the football team and on the baseball team, his dad would get a large order of Supremes, bring hot dog buns, and then the kids would put different toppings on it, and they called them bird dogs and been eating them for years. So similar to the sausage Bowberry, if you stop and listen and look around, there's all these great hacks that have been happening. So we brought it in-house and we launched it, and we were absolutely blown away with the results.
That's interesting because when companies usually talk about, listening to their consumers, I always feel like it's, probably surveys, focus groups. I'd assume that when you all have a menu innovation, it's somebody at Bojangles corporate that has an idea and then you try it out and you focus group at it. But it's sounding like you're actually hearing these stories out in the wild of people doing interesting things with your existing products, and you're like, okay, well, we can do that pretty easily and sell it and market it. Is it a little bit of both, or?
Yeah, I would say it's a yes and. We use a combination of those variables. So I'm a year and a half into this role, and I'm learning the brand in a big way. So while my background is performance-based marketing and using data to make informed decisions, as I'm going around and I'm meeting various franchisees, as I'm meeting various employees, both in corporate and at the stores, I stop and we talk. And I just want to hear, I mean, it's not uncommon for us to have employees that have worked in a store for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. That is such a resource. And the franchisees have been doing this for years and years and years. And if you just stop, talk, and listen, you'll get at these unbelievable nuggets. And then you go back, you take the ideas and you look at the data. Is the data, supporting the point that you're hearing? And then you get together with the culinary team and, what can they do with that idea? And our culinary team is amazing. I've been absolutely thrilled with all the new products and all the innovations that they've been bringing. But that's how we've been able to fill the pipeline with a bunch of new ideas, is we don't look at just one source. We look at all of them.
So is there a next big flavor? I know there are some competitors out there that have been experimenting with pimento cheese, some experimenting with maple. Is there any big trends that you're seeing?
There's a couple that are in the works that we're really excited about. This year is coming in the fall. We have 2 exciting products. We tested them last year, and we're going to be rolling them out in a big way this year. For football season, wings are coming. Now, for years, we've had chicken wings have been part of the core mix, but isolating wings and offering wings specifically around football season, it just makes a ton of sense for us. We're a tailgate brand. And then we have all these wonderful sauces, or you can get it naked. And whatever way you like it, whether just straight seasoning or with a sauce on it, I think it's going to pair really, really well for football season. So we're excited about that. And then we're moving forward with nuggets. We're bringing what we're calling Bo Bites. In the industry, it's referred to as a nugget, but ours is different. It's hand breaded, it's real chicken, and it's absolutely delicious. The size of the nuggets are fantastic. I think the Bo Bites are going to be very well received in the market. And when you combine them with our sauces, I'm very, very optimistic to see how the audience responds.
Yeah, interesting. And you mentioned sports, and I just wanted to say, yeah, it seems like sports is kind of a natural fit for marketing, that it would play a pretty big role. I mean, you sort of, it seems like to me, positioned yourself as the restaurant of choice for tailgaters. And I don't think I've ever been to a Carolina Panthers tailgate where someone didn't bring a box of Bojangles. I should also point out that, the fact that Bojangles open 7 days a week, which I think you're not shy about spotlighting. Not every chicken restaurant people know is open on NFL game days. I think that seems to help. And I also think of things like the promotions you have at UNC Chapel Hill. The basketball team scores 100 or more points. And everybody in the audience, everybody in the stands gets a deal the next day on Bojangles, the sausage biscuits, and so they refer to the sort of the tall, lanky guys who come in at the end of the game as the biscuit boys. That's got to be helpful to you, right? I mean, so how much is sports a factor in your marketing of Bojangles products?
The power of sports has been huge for this brand since it started. As you mentioned, we've been closely associated not only with college football, but also with the Carolina Panthers. We're one of their original partners. And I'm proud to say that we also have a deal with Bryce Young, QB1 for the Panthers. So sports has worked really well for us, whether it's football, NASCAR, fishing. We've tried a bunch of different things, but most recently we're leaning in and we're testing some new properties with WWE. But what do all of these categories have in common is sports fans are fanatics. And if you can partner with sports brands in an organic way, you can kind of pass along the excitement for your brand. So when we were thinking about WWE, I'm just going to make a quick transition to explain why we decided to work with them. I came from the WWE. I spent some time earlier in my career, about 6 years, working at World Wrestling Entertainment. And there I learned the real power of the WWE universe. And looking at the data and their consumer, that's a global brand that's wildly popular. And their fans are so passionate and so supportive. And when you index their fans against ours, they over-index on chicken consumption. They love fast food chicken, and then they love Bojangles. Like, it was just such a natural partnership. But in the past, we've bought commercial time with WWE, but we wanted to take it a step further to try to attract and grow or reach a different audience. Because we've been talking to a lot of the traditional partners for a number of years in a great way, but what else can we do to grow? And what WWE offered that was really unique was they have influential talent. So when you think of their superstars, regardless if it's a current superstar or a legend, most people will smile and laugh because you know who they are, right? Like this is someone that you've cheered or booed for years and years. And they have without a shadow of a doubt, world-class production. They do some of the best television production out there, period. And they also have built-in distribution. So it's really a one-stop shop. And they also have no off season. So while football, we lean in really hard in Q4, there's 12 months in the year. So what else do we want to do during the other times of the year, and what other partners can help us? Plus, they have the live event programming. So you get the excitement of live events. And because they have a global footprint, as we're a regional brand growing to national, it's a nice transition. It helps warm the door as we're entering new markets, because some people may be exposed to us for the first time on a Monday Night Raw, where the announcers are talking about the Bojangles collectible cups. And it kind of makes people turn their head and say, hey, what's going on there? And what can we do more with that? When we had our first integration, we had one of our highest search days ever the next day. Immediately, people were looking, hey, what's up with Bojangles? Or where can I get these cups? Or when do these cups come out? We have 4 collectible cups celebrating a number of legendary tag teams. So in the WWE world, The Undertaker and Kane, the Dudley Boys, the Hart Foundation, the Outsiders, they all have very passionate fan bases. And by giving them all a unique cup, we're trying to drive consumers back week by week, because we know the WWE audience are avid collectors. So let's give them something to collect so they come and they get to experience our product. We're about 2 weeks into the promotion, and we've been having a great time with it. Our social media has been taken over with a lot of the WWE universe. And then we're starting to see a lot of the cups, the fandom and appreciation is absolutely wild. They're actually, some of them are selling them on eBay. We're kind of blown away of how many of them are listed on eBay and how much they're asking for these cups. Like, we want to remind everyone, come into a store. You can get not only the cup, but also a great lunch or dinner for $8, $9, whatever the case may be. But they're selling for all sorts of prices on eBay. So that's an example of the fandom coming to life, and where you can get our guests and our audience, or the WWE audience, to help promote your product in an organic way. Because when you see that excitement, it's very different than a standard commercial. You can make the best commercial in the world, but everyone can pick out a regular commercial. When you see a passionate fan talking about how much they love the food and they love the WWE cup, like, that's fun, that's memorable, that's the type of thing you want to share.
Right. So what are you trying to accomplish in the marketing and your sales funnel? I mean, obviously, you sort of alluded to, you have areas of the country where maybe you don't have the brand recognition like you do in the Southeast, but then you also have people of varying degrees of loyalty to Bojangles here in the Southeast. How do you try to service those different parts of your sales funnel?
Another great question. So we're trying to do a lot with this campaign in a number of different ways. We love the fact that WWE offers access to a younger audience, a more diverse audience, and they have live TV. So, they're tuning in real time, and they distribute it on social. So our message is reaching a consumer it may not normally reach. So touching a new consumer is great. But then it's also driving people back to our stores, because we need to think about, how do we drive the day-to-day business of Bojangles? So is it increasing guest counts? Is it driving more same-store sales? Is it increasing the check? Is it getting people to come back more frequently? These are variables that we're using to measure. And
are you able to attribute that?
Absolutely.
Do you always know where those are and where they're coming from?
So what we do is we can look holistically across the stores of, our guest counts up overall? Are they down? What's the average check? And we can compare pre and post. Plus, we can look at which products are being ordered. And the way that we structured this campaign is, we have a number of summer sandwiches. The returning pulled pork sandwich is a total home run and favorite. Or you can get the Bo's chicken sandwich, or you can get grilled. So we're measuring, how is our overall sandwich category growth performing? And then how are those individual product lines performing? And then we can compare it to the period before, year over year, things of that nature, to get a sense of how effective is the WWE at moving their audience to our stores.
Got it. That makes sense. I want to talk a little bit about your expansion. Traditionally been, a lot of the stores in the Southeast. I think you're moving into New Jersey, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. These are different parts of the country, different than the South, although maybe in some ways, we're becoming a little bit homogenized, with the way things are in our country now. But I mean, how does the Bojangles experience translate into these new markets where they're maybe not accustomed to having a biscuit for breakfast, or having, you order tea at most restaurants outside the South and they will bring you unsweetened tea. And it's very different than sweet tea if you're not used to it. I mean, how does it translate into these other areas?
So we're figuring that out. And, to your point, we have a lot of exciting announcements, whether it's Phoenix, whether it's California, whether it's Texas. There's some big moves happening. But how people eat and what they look for at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we need to help educate. And I'm going to bring it back for a second and talk about Charlotte. I think everyone knows that North Carolina is growing in popularity in a meaningful way. We've seen data as high as 30,000 people a month are coming to Charlotte. That's a lot of people that didn't grow up with Bojangles. And I saw it in my own life when my family moved down here. The first time they came down, my daughter and her swim team from Connecticut came down and they went to a Bojangles. And they didn't know what dirty rice was. They didn't know what a Bowberry biscuit was. They all ordered chicken tenders and soda and French fries. And then when we brought them the other menu items, hey, try a Bowberry, try dirty rice, try the mac and cheese. Moving them around the menu immediately gets them to fall in love with the brand the same way it did for people who grew up in Charlotte. So we're trying to translate that. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to work with Bryce Young. Bryce Young was coming to Charlotte. And the way that we've been working with him is giving everyone kind of a peek behind the curtain of as he experiences the menu and he uncovers the magic of the Bowberry, as he has sweet tea for the first time. I thought it was really funny when, after games, he'd get up there to answer questions and he would get questions from the Charlotte press about, are you a sweet tea or unsweet tea guy? What's your favorite biscuit? What's your go-to Bojangles order? What's your favorite sauce? All the things that if you grow up with Bojangles, you're used to, is really fun to see other people kind of learning and adapting and understanding the magic of bow time. So we're working through that and we're using data to help guide decisions of, in our expansion markets, we've got cobblers and we tested the cookies in our core market, but they performed so well that the cookies are now going to expansion. And they're going to get a chance to experience it. And then the cobblers that started in expansion are coming to core. They're actually in the core market right now. And we're using different markets to test different products to benefit the overall brand, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I'm frankly a little surprised that, how much you all use data and rely on data. It's a very, modern thing to do. And that data exists. It seems like a lot of companies are still not necessarily tuned into that, but it sounds like you all are pretty plugged into using data to make decisions.
We use data in a very big way. And that's one of the benefits of working in the QSR industry, because you can see on a daily basis what's happening at a macro level all the way down to a specific store at a specific time with a specific product. So every Monday we go through, we look at the sales numbers, we look at the performance, and we adjust our media. We pivot in real time. We don't wait till the end of campaigns anymore. If we need to change something, we change something. If it's working, we lean in and put more money on it. If it's not working, we lean back and we pivot a different way. We try to come up with, rather than, one commercial spot, let's come up with 2 to 3 and then test them and see which one is performing the best. And it's almost a version of Moneyball. That's what I say internally. We're playing Moneyball with performance-based marketing, and singles and doubles add up fast if you can figure out the right mix.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I mentioned to a few of my friends before this interview that I would be talking with you and asked if they had any questions for Bojangles. I just wanted to share one from my friend Nick. He wanted me to ask you, why can't I find the Bojangles French fry spice blend in the baking aisle at Harris Teeter?
Nick, I love that question. The good news is you can find that on Bojangles shop. If you go to the bojangles.com site and you look in our shop, we do offer it there. In addition, during the holidays, we offer it at stores. But I think he's asking about our overall retail strategy of when and where we bring different products to retail. While we don't currently have the spice there, I'm pleased to report that Harris Teeter does have the sauces. We've taken the honey mustard, we've taken the barbecue, as well as bow sauce. So all three are now available in not only Harris Teeter, but a couple other retail outlets.
Good to know. This year, you all started rolling out, maybe it was last year, started rolling out AI, almost
Bolinda.
Like a chatbot, Bolinda,
Yes.
at some of the restaurants, as opposed to, driving up and you're talking to a human and maybe the speaker is a little bit old and you can't quite hear. Bolinda, it's automated. She, I guess we can call her a she, understands, I hope, what you're saying, puts the order together. How is that experiment going? What do you think is the future there for Bolinda?
So the Bolinda experience has been fantastic for us. The benefit that it provides the store is the fact that, working the drive-thru is one of the most stressful spots, especially if you've ever been to a Bojangles early in the morning or on the weekend where the line is backed up. You need to make sure that you're getting the order right and you're moving it along quickly. And what Bolinda lets us do is shift the focus of the employees inside so we can have more employees focusing on packaging the products to get them out faster, as opposed to interacting and interfacing to clarify orders. So that has been the benefit from the Bojangles side. But from the consumer's perspective, it sped up the line. Like ultimately you want a convenient drive-thru and you want accuracy. And what's nice is she repeats it at the end and there's a screen. So you can read through it and ensure that there's accuracy. And if for whatever reason something goes wrong, a live person will chime in. But it's nice that we can leverage technology to make everyone work more efficiently. So we've been very, very pleased with the initial results. It's early days. I think we have it in, 10 to 13 stores at this point, but we're continuing to expand because we've been really pleased with the results.
So you all are approaching your 50th anniversary of Bojangles existing. Where do you see it going? Where is the company heading? Do you have any plans for a big 50th? I know it's still maybe 3 years away, but where, or more broadly, as you're looking to where this company is heading, where is it going?
Broadly, we're on a path to go from a regional brand to a national brand. And what that means is that we need to grow. We need to continue to grow in Texas. We're very, very excited about the launch of Vegas, 30 stores in Vegas. California is coming. Phoenix is coming. We want to bring Bojangles to more people. The magic of Bojangles, the magic of Bow Time, this cult-like following of this brand is going to keep spreading because the recipes and the product have been proven over time. We just need to bring them to the different audience. Much easier to say than to actually do, but we're making tremendous strides and we're really, really proud of the growth.
Great. Sounds like a good place to leave it. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That's a wrap. To our listeners, thank you for listening. The Charlotte Ledger podcast is produced by Lindsey Banks.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.